You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this will be a piece of cake.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Before Hours podcast, an internet radio phenomenon hosted by an occasional morning person. I ask the most interesting people I know about their sleep, their routine, life, love, stress, and setbacks, and whatever else comes to mind. Don't forget to write to the Before Hours podcast at gmail.com. Tell us about your morning routine, and we'll read it on the podcast. But for now, I got a good friend of mine, a hilarious comedian, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, a great man.
Now it sounds insincere.
Ilya Laksin, folks.
Hi, thank you.
How are you doing?
Hold on, I'm holding off where I imagine applause would be if this was a live thing. There we go. Well, no, don't even imagine it. You're filling the gaps.
We have sound effect. That's actually Maxim on the board.
Yeah.
Is
anything
this
worse
is
than like a show with like the fake clap? It's like we all know it's fake. Now it's just like you're condescending to us.
Yes.
Like we don't know the difference between live laughs. And fake.
I as an occasional host of a comedy show, when you have to make people clap when they don't want to, when they're skeptical about the event that they've come to.
But that's at least you're getting you're forcing a real response out of them. This is just like adding a fake response later. It's like no one wants that.
No one
enjoys that.
No one
Who's that
wants.
gullible? It's like I would enjoy this, but I really need a bunch of strangers I can't see to let me know that it's okay to enjoy this.
Oh yeah, as a podcast listener, that would be like, well, am I alone?
Yeah.
Is nobody else listening?
Oh, maybe that's the only way they keep from killing themselves. It's like, I need to know that there's other people out there who also laugh at the things that I laugh.
Guys, write to the Before Hours podcast at gmail.com. Let us know if you want applause when I introduce the guests. Let us know if that's the only thing keeping you from suicide.
They make a pact that they all applaud when they listen.
Oh.
So it's like a known universal. It's an understood that there is applause happening.
Okay.
I don't need to hear it. I just need to know that it's happening.
You need to know
because when you introduce me, like it feels like there should be applause, but there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to know if you have the audience write in and confirm that they've been clapping each episode. They don't have to do it like every episode. Like every 10 episodes, just confirm that they're like a renewable contract. Just let me know that you're still clapping.
Folks, please write to that email that I said earlier. Tell me if you clapped when you heard Ilya's name. Tell me if you liked Ilya on the show. Or tell me if you absolutely can't stand him.
Oh man, don't do that second part. How about just don't say anything? Why would they need to say that second part?
Do you have a favorite mean YouTube comment that you've gotten? Have you gotten one?
Yeah, I have. A lot of times it's always slightly backhanded. They'll be like, "Oh, he's funny but fat," or something like that.
Okay.
It's usually more than that, but that's just the general structure of the criticism.
Funny.
It's never just he sucks, but it's usually just he's a fat piece of shit, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to weed out the cursing or not.
But
no, I want to keep it real. I'm pretty hard at comment. People. If you're gonna see me, I'm not for your mom and dad. I say things like the S word occasionally.
Now that I thought about it, I think we're gonna have to. Can we edit out those S words and the F words, please?
I just said it once. You said the F word a lot off mic before.
Oh,
you said both F words.
Oh,
together, back to back.
Sometimes together. If
you do double F words a lot.
Yeah, that is a funny new phenomenon. Is now that there's two
we don't know
F
which
words.
F word is which.
Yeah. Well, I've heard people say that the homophobic slur. They'll say the F slur.
F slur.
To differentiate. But honestly, like in Bushwick, if someone says the F word, they don't mean fuck.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think there's anybody like, whoa, language. Don't say fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They'll say my brother's a fuck and he's going to hell. But
hell yeah, dude. Ilya, you're one of the funniest people I know. I couldn't even really read the introduction without laughing because of the face you were making.
Did I make a face?
You were
very insecure about my face. I didn't always make a face.
I don't know. I'm
a twitchy person, so it could be that.
That's true. You do twitch a bit.
Twitch.
Which I think is fine.
Like That's great. That's a nice little bit to throw that, make people insecure about something that they might not have been insecure about.
So you just you'll say anything, which I think is fine.
So you get you put mayo on your sandwich. That's cool. I like that. It's like, yeah, should I not? It's like, get what you want.
Saying I think that's fine after someone does something a little unusual or you mentioned their identity.
Yeah.
Oh, like you're Korean. I think that's fine. I think that's okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And when we saw each other, you complimented me on my new haircut.
Well, on your sideburn, and I do like the little sort of the little cowlicks thing going up front. Looks like a skateboard ramp on the side. But
yes, I do not know how to skateboard, and at 32, I think it's too late to try.
Really? How long do you think you're going to be living? You make it sound like you're holding out for the best years to come. I hate to break it to you. I think now is as good a time as any.
Okay.
To risk breaking your neck trying to impress teenagers in a park.
Yeah, I do. If there's anybody I want to impress, it's teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh God, what a horrible sentence that is.
No, that's a great sentence. They're their future audience. You always want to impress.
That's true, for real.
That's all I want is teenagers and black people. Those are that's the two demographics I want to love me.
No cap.
Yes.
I think can I brag a little bit on the podcast?
I thought that's
Ilya?
what you were doing when you said no cap.
Yeah.
Like, look how cool I am. I say no cap.
I once I did a roast show.
Yeah.
And I feel like roast shows, it's very easy to get laughter when you otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not like a one-liner guy.
Yeah.
So
no, I always said that your joke writing's not your strong suit. Anyway, you were sorry, you were saying.
You know, some people have joke writing, some people have charisma.
Yeah.
You know, I have talk to the booker afterwards. Be like, here's my email.
Yeah.
Do you need someone to clean up the comedy club when
Sure,
the
if you want me
show's
to grow
over?
out sideburns, I will. That kind of thing. You're dedicated to the craft.
But I had I forget what the joke is, but I said it, and it did well in the room, but there was a group of black guys sitting in the back, and I swear to God, this isn't just like a daydream I imagined.
Yeah.
They started barking,
Oh.
like that thing that, like, you ever watch like an old Chris Rock special?
Yeah.
And they're like, ooh, 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 ooh. They were doing that for me, and dude, in that moment, I was like, I could die now, and I would be the happiest I've ever been.
It's pretty great. I roasted a black guy once, and he wasn't doing well, and the black people in the crowd were like just turning against him because they really wanted him to do well, and and that disappointment against him. It's not so much that they were like in favor of me, just their disappointment in him. And then I had one joke where like a couple people like got out of their seats, and like that's a good feeling.
Oh, when that's
like that's the pinnacle of like way better than like standing ovation. It's getting black people to get up from their seats and like do that like that. Goddamn, like they're holding their head like that's the best.
As if they had seen like a magic trick.
Yeah.
You know, like your bit was so good. It was as if it was
like a miracle they couldn't explain. It's like, guys, I mean,
do you look for and recognize miracles?
I do not look for, nor do I recognize miracles.
Yeah, me neither.
I saw a guy walking on the water just outside. I was like, nope, not buying it.
Well, I mean, you didn't believe it the first time. So.
I didn't. I was like, we got to shut this guy down. This guy's spreading some wild lies out there. We got to put an end to it. Let me go talk to the Romans. Like, hey, this Jesus fella, he's saying some wild shit out there. So
no, for those slow on the upkeep, Ilya is Jewish.
I'm a Jewish.
Yeah, you're a Jewish, which I think is fine.
You do think it's fine, but you do bring it up. I think every single time we've ever talked, I don't think we've ever had a conversation where you didn't really make a ham-handed point about it, ironically speaking. But you've always brought out Ilya's a Jew, by the way. As if it's necessary context for anything. It really didn't come up at all, except that I was implying that I was responsible for killing Jesus, which was by proxy.
Which was you yes-anding the bit that I started. So again,
look, I'll yes and any anti-Semitic bit that comes
that's
along.
beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm very thoughtful and giving that way.
Nice. So now that we're talking about you and we're talking about your
okay, I guess we are. Are we talking about me? I was unaware. I didn't know that had happened. It's a seamless transition. Speaking of killing Christ, what's your morning routine? Well, I murder a historic figure. I get some nitro brewed children's blood to get my day going. Yeah.
Kosher.
We still drink I don't know if it's kosher, but we do drink Christian children's blood.
Really?
That's how we started our day.
Okay.
Over ice. It's nice.
That is fascinating that started as like a anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. It's like one of the OG ones too.
Yeah, it's probably one of the older ones.
Because it was before even like usury.
Well, we didn't have like formal banks, and Hollywood certainly didn't exist. So there was only so many things the Jews were up to.
I know.
The weather thing was probably later. I don't know when that came up. I think that's probably a modern thing, maybe early 20th century, maybe. The idea that we control the weather. prior to that, I don't think anyone thought that.
Now, because I've heard a lot of anti-Semitic tropes.
You've said a lot to yourself in the mirror.
In the mirror.
You say them to yourself in the mirror.
Is that a form of what do they call it? Self-affirmations?
Yeah. It's like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and the Jews control the mass. They cut that out of the Stuart Smalley sketches. But that's what it was.
I'm good enough, I'm strong enough to fight back, so to speak.
I'll fight back against the Jew.
Oh, geez Louise, Ilya. So, as you pointed out, that was how I was trying to transition into what is your morning routine. So, other than killing, I think you said killing Christ and drinking blood, what else do you do in the morning?
Those are the big two.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I wouldn't say a routine. I shower every morning. I shower twice a day, pretty regularly. It's my thing. Not bragging, but I run hot, so I sweat a lot. So we have a ceiling fan. I like to stay as cool as possible, but I always shower every morning, no matter what. Just get that sweat off me.
There are some people.
I don't want to get too erotic, but
yeah.
I do shower in the morning.
Guys, please close your eyes and picture Ilya taking a shower.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh, you want me to close my eyes and picture me taking a shower? And then do you just watch me silently watching myself?
Do you think there's someone so narcissistic that they would close their eyes and think about themselves while they're jacking off? Trump does.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his eyes always look slightly closed anyway, don't they? He's got a little squintiness going on.
Like the sun is always in his eyes.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of that.
Yeah.
A little, just his head is heavy and pressing them down a little bit.
That I would say is his biggest character flaw.
Yeah, that's probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything in his head, like the hair and the eyes.
I'm a little surprised to hear about showering twice a day.
Surprised for what reason? Why surprised?
That anybody showers twice a day. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I start my day off with a shower, and you got to end the day with, not end the day, but when I come back home,
Is it because I've heard someone describe it as they take a shower when they come home so that they go into their bed clean.
Yeah.
And I could respect that.
Yeah.
I don't do it necessarily. Like I kind of feel like, all right, my bed's always got a little bit of the day on it. You know what I mean? Is that gross?
That sounds like a euphemism, like a hardened sex crimes detective would say. Let's just say we found a lady. She's got a lot of the day on her. It's like, oh god, you need to take a vacation, Terry.
Yeah, okay. So, but I do shower in the morning because I feel like I feel dirty all day if I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are some people that are like their only night showers, and I think that's crazy.
I think it depends what your day is like. I think it makes sense because if you realistically, you wake up, you're out of bed, right? So then you're putting on your clothes. At the end of the day, I don't know what you are. I'm pretty at whatever clothes I wear go in the hamper. I don't, except for like jeans, certain pants or something.
Your two pairs of jeans.
Yeah, the ones. Well, one of them stained with baby blood, so I only have another pair that I can go outside with. But whatever, at the end of the day, whatever underwear, shoes, everything's going in the hamper, so it's never going to be reused, right? So realistically, you could go through your whole, it doesn't matter if you're putting on new clothes and feel slightly grimy in the morning, because those clothes at the end of the day are going to come off you anyway and go in the hamper for me. So it would make more sense if you're doing it once a day to do it at the end of the day. But because I get, sometimes I get sweaty, while I'm sleeping, or I just want to start off feeling as clean and dry as possible. And then I do that in the end of the day.
I feel like I can't regulate my body temperature at night. Like I always wake up early in the morning, either too hot or too cold.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Goldilocks, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, she eventually found a good temperature. You're missing part of the story.
I'm Goldilocks if there was no conflict.
Goldilocks wasn't just some menopausal old woman who could never regulate her temperature. She was a child who just wanted some decent porridge that didn't scald her roof of her mouth.
The idea that Goldilocks is a menopausal woman is very, very funny.
It's so hot in here. It's no, it's not. You're just old. And this is God telling you that you have only so many years left.
And then she said, my pussy is too dry.
And the bear was like, I agree, ma'am. And the other bear was like, perfect for me. Love a dry pussy. This is the Goldilocks they don't want you to know about. The unedited, unabridged Goldilocks.
All right, so to set the scene for those that may have missed it, is there's a middle-aged, or I guess how old
How
are
old are
you?
you in? Maybe she's premenopausal, but I don't know if that would count.
The hot flashes, I think, start during menopause.
Yeah.
So there's a woman of a certain age getting, I want to say, double teamed by two bears.
Yes. One of them's into it, but the other's like not feeling it.
I don't. I know you could work through a dry pussy. God knows I have, but I don't know if it's anybody's thing. Like, ooh, I love it dry.
It's not great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you ever play like beach volleyball, like it's a lot of effort. Like when you're on on a hard court, like you can move quickly, but you're moving on sand. It's like it feels like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a perfectly adept analogy, but you get what I'm trying to picture there. It's
No,
dry pussy's like it's work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's work. Are you willing to put in the work?
But we got lube. We have.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know why I started a
We
list.
got I guess other
Ketchup.
ketchup and lube.
Mhm.
Those are the two categories of sexual. I was gonna say appliance, accessories.
Mhm.
Not accessories.
Sexual accessories. That's the name of the episode.
That's like it's like a guy who doesn't who forgot the term for a rapist. He's like a sexual accessory. What's the word? You're being charged with sexual accessory. Is that what term?
Accessory to commit a sex crime. Actually, that's probably a real. Well, Ilya, you would know because
I'm a convicted sex offender. I mean I don't like bringing it up, but yeah, we're here to be honest. So
yeah, we're good. And well, in addition to that, you're also a lawyer.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you like being a lawyer?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Not bad. My job in particular is good.
Mhm.
That being said, I'm a professional comedian. I don't have a day job.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But you used to be a
I
lawyer.
used to be a lawyer.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm wondering if that influenced your routine. Because I think here's why I asked the question, because I think of all lawyers as being very type A. And then type A people also have, like, in my mind, a strict routine that they follow. Am I talking nonsense?
I think that's probably there is a category of lawyer. I think every depiction of lawyers is that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these like super suave or brain dudes who like slick back their hair. They wear like the best finely tailored. Like there's that kind of a lawyer, but that's not really what I'd say most lawyers are. That's just so yeah. I get why you'd think that, but I don't know if that's really. I think most lawyers do not have a. I don't know what did. I don't know. I don't think you could stereotype like what lawyers' daily routine is like, whether or not they shower twice a day. Oh,
yeah. I guess that's true, because like thinking about the different groups that I fall into, like comedian, I don't know if there's like a one type of comedian.
I think you think it used to seem like that. There was like, oh, this is what the comedians are like, but like nowadays it's really hard. Like everyone kind of a lot of different backgrounds. It's like I don't know how you. Like, you can't say, oh, we all do comedy, so we're all like this. It's like, I don't know if that really is enough to, like, you wouldn't be able to really pick people out based just on those qualities and say, oh, they're comedians. Like, it means nothing nowadays.
Yes, I think that is true. And in fact, part of the reason I thought of starting a podcast like this, the Before Hours podcast, is I feel like I'm sort of a little bit of a black sheep being a morning person.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the hang, like the post-show hang is important if you want to like meet new people. And I always feel like that scene from 30 Rock when Tina Fey is dating a younger man, because I've also dated a younger man.
And Tina Fey. Which she kept out of her memoir.
She did. I was pissed about that too. I was the one that cut her face with
when she was a kid. But I'm doing she has that's good. Anyway, I can see why she was. And then she dated you later on. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's
weird.
Even when she didn't know at first, and I was like, I was the guy, and she's like, no way.
That's a good story.
She's like, really? Yeah, it was kind of like a funny little laugh thing we had. But it like during the show, she's dating a younger man, and he says, I'll pick you up tonight. And she says, yes. And he goes, at 10? And she responds, at night? And that's kind of how I feel about like every comedy hang. It's like, all right, we're going to get here at 11. I'm like, 11's when I'm brushing my teeth. You know what I mean?
It's I think like there's, I mean, I guess that's a stereotype. Like a lot of comedy, you know, you're supposed to be, you know, out late, whatever, if you're doing spots or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. I like being home. Like I don't know. Unless I'm doing comedy, like I don't really do the hang. Like I'm like it's there. If it's there and it's happening, that's cool. But I'm not gonna like stick around or go out of my way to be like, oh, where are people hanging? Like that's not.
Mhm.
Everything in life I compare to like, is this better than laying in bed with my wife and my dog?
Oh
And
yeah.
almost nothing ever is really. I mean, literally, I think nothing ever is. But sometimes like, well, I'm already out, so this is fun. I'll do this.
Mhm.
But like, I always have something that I'd rather be doing in those moments.
Yeah.
But you're still doing comedy, so like there's that. But like
Mhm.
I think there's like expectations like, oh, we're comics, we're supposed to be night owls, that kind of thing. It's like, and I guess that's just sort of a necessity of the job.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't know if you can. You probably change your body's metabolism mechanics, like how you work. Like I'm a morning person now, but I think if you just are that, I think it's fine.
Mhm.
You probably plus you like a siesta, so you take a nice long sleep during the day.
A siesta, dude. I hate to sound culturally insensitive,
Yeah.
but I cannot do a siesta.
No.
I can't. I take a nap sometimes, and I wake up feeling worse than before I had taken the
Oh,
nap.
I can't nap. I'll just do full on sleep during the day, and then you wake up like with a headache in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like, this is brutal. It's like, why do you do it? It's like, how do you nap?
Hmm.
It's like edging for sleep.
Yes.
It's like, you want me to just stop now?
Yeah.
That's crazy. How can I do that? This is like the best thing ever. You want me to just not fully embrace it?
Mhm. Plus, I have this thing like we were talking about showering earlier, because I shower as well.
for you.
And I feel like I wake up from a nap, and if I don't have enough time to shower, I feel dirt. Something about sleep makes me feel dirty, and I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, are you getting sweaty under the sheets?
Um,
You know what I mean? If you're picking up what I'm putting down, are you getting sweaty under the sheets while you're napping?
that had a very creepy uncle vibe to it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, so Johnny, you're 18 now. Are you getting sweaty under the sheets? If you know what I'm saying. Oh man, the aunt or uncle that thinks they're like wild and crazy, but they just have a couple drinks every now and then is my favorite type of person.
I don't. Yeah, it's a fun little
Mhm.
trope. I don't really have that. I have a very small family, so I don't relate to a lot of those like family tropes. But
Mhm.
I do. When you see other people talk about it, it's like, oh, that sounds like a pretty fun wild.
Do
time.
you have any siblings?
I have a brother. Yeah,
Ooh, older or younger?
older.
Single?
Yeah. No, he's married. Married, 2 kids.
Nice. All right. So I have no chance.
Are you interested?
Okay, interesting. Now, because I don't have any siblings, so I don't really know how it works. I mean, I know how. I know your parents had another kid.
That's like, now, did they all pick? Did they also pick him up in the field? Like was he a foundling like I was? Did your parents find him in a basket on their doorstep one day?
Am I Moses?
Next to some milk. You're not Moses. No, I hate to break it. Bobby, you're gonna sit further down for this. You're not Moses.
Do you know Moses apparently had a speech impediment?
Did he?
Yeah, and that's why Aaron, I think it was his brother or his friend, colleague. Aaron would like
Situationship is the
yeah. He would have to like talk to Pharaoh.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be you know how like Elton John can't write lyrics.
Yeah, he needs what's in it? Bernie. What's no?
I don't know, but I had this whole thing made up that Elton John's writing partner was also his life partner, and then I got very sad that wasn't true. That it was just like a business arrangement. I thought they were 2 gay guys writing songs about each other.
The songs were about each other.
I don't know.
I don't know if about his songs is he who's the Rocket Man? which one of them is a Rocket Man?
It's unclear to me which one is the Rocket Man. I hate
Okay.
to say it. So is your brother similar to you or different?
I'd say I don't know. In some ways, I guess you might from the outside say we're similar. I would say pretty different in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
He's a clown rapist. I should mention
A
that.
clown.
Clown rapist. So I guess we're similar. Clown. I'm a comic. That kind of thing. But I've never raped anyone. So
Okay, good. That was going to be my next
he
question.
doesn't rape clowns. He's a clown who rapes.
Okay.
I don't want. So let me clear up any ambiguity. He's a clown who rapes.
Okay, that's much better.
So in that sense,
Mhm. Because if you're going to be a clown rapist, it's like there's very few clowns out there. Like which is probably good in terms of like you're not raping a lot of people.
yeah,
Mhm.
I guess that's good. Like if you had to specialize in a type of rape,
Mhm.
hopefully choose a target. We
Mhm.
want less rape. I think we all agree.
Mhm.
I don't want
That's where
Write in if you applauded when I said we want less rape as a society. Let us know your thoughts.
Oh man. Well, cool, because I don't have any siblings, so I feel a little bit introverted because of it. I won't say I'm an introvert. I think I'm somewhere in the middle, like an ambivert, I guess. But
Did you say Amber Alert?
Amber Alert. Yep.
I'm a bit of an Amber Alert.
Yeah, I'm a
I
bit.
don't like introvert extrovert. It's like everyone's a combination of the two. Like some people are extremes. Everyone's a little bit of like
Mhm.
it's like I don't know. It's one of those things. Well, I'm an introvert. It's like, are you in all situations? Or like most people, are you sometimes introverted? Sometimes like
Mhm.
it's I don't know. It's not a very useful way of categorizing people. I don't think.
To me, it's very much dependent on when I've eaten.
Oh yeah.
Because if I'm hungry, I mean that Snickers commercial, it's just based
Yeah.
off me, man.
Okay, so you're a chick basically.
I'm a chick.
Yeah,
I'm a woman
a woman with a Y.
with a Y. Ooh,
Wo-
see,
woman.
herstory.
Her. Yep.
Yeah.
These are all things that people have said at one point.
This is free association at this
Yeah.
point. We're just saying
Not a conversation, but
it's not. It's not. A
but we
conversation.
are talking
Mhm.
in the same room.
I think that if someone were to see us talking and the cameras and the microphones weren't here, they would think we might be on a first date.
I can't imagine who would think that. What kind of first date? Especially with me holding myself like with the worst energy possible.
Mhm, mhm.
It's like a first date with like both with two guys who aren't sure whether or not they're gay and have different feelings about like the possibility of it. It's like you're like, I hope I'm gay, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gay. I don't think it's a great first date.
I hope I'm gay is such a funny emotion to feel.
It's probably a good emotion. If you just got like went through a really bad breakup with a woman,
Uh-huh.
and you're like, God, man, I
Maybe
hope I'm
that's
gay."
why it didn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's why it didn't work.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in Brooklyn and in most blue states, I think it makes you cool.
To be gay.
Yeah. Do you ever walk into like a place in Bushwick and you feel like I feel like they could smell the straight white man on me and therefore
That
I'm
happens so much especially in comedy. Like you look out in the front row and you'd be like whatever kind of like you just see like a dude wearing like a tank top and a dress and like hoop earrings, but
Yeah.
like, with a full beard
Mhm,
next to like some half Puerto Rican with like the septum ring,
mhm.
and you're like, man,
This is coming off John Rocker right now.
yeah. Well, what was the but too fair, remember the Colin Quinn joke he said on like SNL on Weekend Update after the John Rocker thing? He was talking about Asian, whatever. I forget what he said, but he was like Asian, all these people on the train, and Colin was like, say what you will, guy's been on the train,
Yeah.
or something like that. Like,
It's not a nice way to put it.
yeah, it's like it's not the most affectionate way to describe it, but like
Mhm.
he's not wrong.
Yeah.
About what he said.
He's been on the 7 train.
But now that's like like making a passing judgment on people. I'm just saying you as a comic, you're like our instant. We sort of stereotype everything in the world. That's how we make comedy out of it. It's like, oh, we just make reference, like have a common frame of reference. So when you see people like that, you have a frame of reference like, oh, these are gonna be young people. They're not gonna like
Mhm.
what I do. But I'm almost always wrong. Like I'm always me in my head about that. Afterwards, they're always usually really cool and they're really fun. And it's like, and it's never that. It's just me like, oh, that's what young people look like.
Yeah.
But you realize the internet is not the real world.
Yes.
Like people who look like that on the internet act a certain way, but in real life, people are pretty cool, and like no one's really that uptight about jokes or whatever.
And I feel like the folks, at least some of the folks online that are uptight, would not be face to face.
Yeah.
And that goes for anybody of any political persuasion. If they're like really extreme online,
Yeah.
you know that if you were talking to them face to face, they would be cool. It's just when they lose that layer of like empathy,
Yeah.
when they're just like behind a keyboard or behind a iPhone.
Yeah, that's why it's such a wretched place, because people are just being vicious and mean, and it's like,
Mhm.
and it's not the real world. And you know it's not the real, because like my wife's not on Twitter, like she doesn't care about that stuff. And then you see the things that people care about online, and you mention it to like anyone else, and like I don't know what you're talking about, like 3 layers deep, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, none of this stuff matters.
You mentioned your wife's not on Twitter. I Googled, and I hope I have the numbers somewhat right still, but it's something like less than a quarter of people even have a Twitter. And it's like
Yeah.
a smaller percentage of that of people that have one actually use it regularly.
Yeah.
And then of course a smaller percentage of that are people that would actually like feel that live on the margins and terms of like extreme political ideology, and it's like I wish more people would realize that, because it's almost like the same 1,000 people.
Yeah. It's
like,
an incredibly insular world that you think is much more significant or pervasive than it is, and it's not. It's really like literally just step outside and it's like, oh, it's the world's completely different than what's like there.
yeah.
So that's why I'm not super like engaged in that stuff, but like I'm on Twitter. It's like I see what's going on, and it's like, man, people are getting very engaged about like the new Indiana Jones movie is like, people are like, that's like a whole thing of like a lot of guys are like upset like saying it's the worst movie ever because of like the way they treat the I don't know, I haven't seen the movie, but like the extreme, like you like, no, every time a movie comes out, it's like I can't even trust what the criticism is, because it's all coming from like such an absurd political bent, and it's just like, is it a fun movie or what? Like I tell I want to, can I jerk off in the theater and without being bothered? That's all I need to know about.
Can I do a Herman, as I like to call it?
I was thinking Herman Munster in my head when you first said Herman. I would think Pee Wee. I would say, can I do a Pee Wee?
I mean, this has been done to death, but so crazy, like his public perception for jacking off in a place where you're supposed to jack off.
Yeah. But he was he also, I mean, it was an in between. Well, I don't know if it's in between, but like, he had like that. He had like kind of like a goatee and like the long hair.
Yeah,
he looked a little bit,
trying to be a little. Yeah. He certainly.
I think if he wore the Pee Wee suit with the bow tie, I think we'd be like, oh my god, Pee Wee, right?
The word of the day is indecent exposure.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, that's fun to see what was a scandal back then, to see how little that would have registered nowadays.
Yeah.
Like the needle wouldn't have moved on in his career. It's like, oh, he jerked off in a porno theater. First of all, where'd you find a porno theater?
Yeah.
Other than that,
that's when I found out about it, because we're roughly the same age. I'm I guess not an elder millennial, but I'm 32, whatever that is. So I had the internet. I had my own computer when I was in college.
Yeah.
So before that, I was like jacking off to like scramble porn.
Okay. So I was following the thread. It was like, I was leaning over other people's shoulders who had computers. I'm like, can you scroll back up? It's like on CNN. So.
Please scroll back up. I'm not done looking at your fucking family picture.
Like, I'm just reading the news, sir. Malala who? I just want to see your face again. I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not a great face to. That's what's wrong with it.
Geez, I mean, you took it away from that. I would never criticize her face like that. Yeah. She's a brave young woman.
She is a brave young woman. Shout out to Malala if you're listening. Can you imagine?
Shout out to Malala. What if that's how they give the Nobel Peace Prize? Like, shout out to my girl Malala. Brave in the face of tyranny.
Also, the idea that she's listening to this podcast is very, very.
Someone listening to. She's like Kevin Bacon. There's always like, you're only 2 steps away from Malala.
7 degrees.
7 degrees from Malala.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, but I relate to her a lot though, because like she stood up to the Taliban, but like I get on stage standing up to woke culture. Yeah. So it's like it's mostly the same.
And you do it while wearing a full hijab, so it's like it's really brave of you. I'm like, man, that guy Bobby's committed.
Fuck, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah,
I generally
that really got away from us. I feel like because I've never so we were jacking off the same as adolescents. Like we didn't have internet yet. I was watching scramble porn. Were you a scramble porn guy?
Yeah, I like scramble porn. It's good stuff.
I remember Busty Cops 2 used to be on channel 80 something. And if there was at some points where the scramble, for those that don't know what we're talking about, the upper channels when you had like a regular cable package, you just used to be like all silver.
Yeah, and like the faint image of it. Like when you turn off your screen, you sort of see the image. It was like it would look like Zap, but scrambled.
Yeah,
but you sometimes heard the audio too, right? You could sometimes hear audio.
You would sometimes hear the audio, but it would be like and then. But I always had the audio turned down because my parents were upstairs. Yeah. But sometimes
I heard it turned up because my dad's hard of hearing.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
The family that
jerks off together, stays together.
Something like that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So I'd be watching like Busty Cops 2
You're just a big fan of police brutality. Too.
Yeah,
That's what you're drinking.
yeah. Mhm.
God, I hope that's a black guy they're beating. That's what you drink out.
Yeah, and I would just that was my go-to. Sometimes the screen would just turn green,
Yeah.
so you would have a full view of everything except everyone was green.
Yeah, every once in a while it would turn in like pretty clear for a 2nd.
Mhm.
Now, how busty were these cops?
They were
Were they? Were they busty?
they were pretty busty, dude, and it was a little hard to follow because I had never seen Busty Cops 1.
Yeah.
But, I imagine Busty Cops 2, big Buster here and they're bigger or whatever. They were like bolted on fake tits that as a 12-year-old I didn't know were fake. You know what I mean? Which I was like,
but we also probably didn't know wrestling was fake. It doesn't matter.
That's
Who
true.
cares what's fake? It's all as long as it's enjoyable, right? Why ruin it for everyone? You know?
That's
Fake tits never hurt anyone except for some women who had defective fake tits
who tragically passed away from
because fake, they
getting
had
their
some
titties
shoddy
too
fake
big.
tit work. Yeah.
There's this one woman who, so they say that like plastic surgery is an addiction.
Yeah.
Right. So if you fix one thing and it's like, well, why don't I fix everything? And your brain just invents new things.
It's like when you get an air fryer, you start throwing everything.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this is amazing. What else can this do? I'm gonna air fry my tits. You know, my pussy could be a little air fryer. Let me throw a clit in there.
Do you have an air fryer?
We have a small air fryer. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very tiny. It's like very small, so it can't.
Now, I don't think I know one guy that has an air fryer who's single. It's always like, my wife got this air fryer.
But you've had a lot of single dudes, like as a cliche, don't even have like a bed frame. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of steps before you're gonna get an air fryer if you're a single dude.
Luckily, I've watched enough women doing comedy to know that you have to have a bed frame and a top sheet.
Yeah. And do you have either of those?
Yes.
Nice.
The apartment I moved into had both of them. So, well, it had a bed frame, not a top sheet.
You're just sleeping. It's like, I've never changed out the top sheet. Honestly, I can't. It's stuck to the sides, so you have to crawl in like a sniper every night. I can't get it off and launder it, but it's comfy. Nice hospital.
Yeah,
hospital sheet.
Yeah, I think, but I feel like I would have had a bed frame at this point, because here's my thing is, I'm not hot enough to not have a bed frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I always picture, for those that are unaware, like a trope that a lot of women comedians have, and men have a lot of tropes too, ladies. But a lot the trope that women, as if we haven't already been like wildly offensive.
I defy anyone to go back in the transcript of this episode and find one thing that taken out of context even could be offensive.
I will stand by that statement.
Anyway, you were saying about that.
So a common trope that women comedians do is like, oh, guy, like I'm hooking up with this guy and he doesn't even have a bed frame. Just 2 mattresses on the floor.
Yeah.
What a man child. But I'm like, I'm always thinking, how hot is that guy?
Yeah.
Because I've always had a bed frame.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's because I'm a 5 on a good day.
Yeah. You have to like, you can't have anything that like you can't have like any other setbacks, like any demerits against you if you're like fighting uphill already. You'd be like, I got to have a nice apartment, have some money. I can't have all those other things because I really got to compensate for, what women are willing to give up on.
I think compensating is great. That whole thing of like, oh, guys with small dicks drive nice cars. I'm like, well, that good for him.
Who doesn't love compensation? It's like, oh, you hit me with your car. How about you compensate?
Yeah.
It's a great compensation. It's the best. Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's fair. I'm going to talk because you're taking a drink. If you want more water, I'll vamp for a while. I think...
Wow, you really folded.
I thought once you mid gulp was like, now you feel awkward because it's your podcast. I just left you hanging dry.
You know what? Now I'm gonna check the time. So
how long are we gonna run for?
This is about an hour-long podcast.
All right.
An hour is about all I need to get ready in the morning. Ilya.
Oh, bringing it back.
Huh?
That is an insane amount of time.
Is it really?
That's a lot of. You need an hour to get ready
to feel.
What are you milking goats? Why do you need that much time? Well, I gotta make porridge for the missus. And one of our cows is birthing, so it's gonna be one of those long mornings.
Oh man, yeah, people have made the joke that it's like it's a feminine quality to need that much time to get used to, but I'm gonna reply back that I'm actually a lot like a 19th century farmer.
Yeah.
I think that's cool
Yeah.
to do to
No,
milk.
that's everyone always says the epitome of cool was 19th century farming. People are like, man, why can't we go back to that time?
when men were men.
When men were men.
hmm
Sometimes people are like, when men were men, like they talk about like the 50s or 40s, but you're like, no, the mid 1800s farming.
Not
Not
a slave owner.
I farm. I do my own farm.
I do my own DIY, no help
Yeah,
or paid help.
paid or yes. I'm not saying I didn't have. I'm not saying they weren't there, but I'm saying they were compensated because compensation is great.
And what I mean by compensation is clothing, housing.
Housing, yeah.
That's it. And they
I
also can't leave.
I didn't cut off their hands if they stole. You know, I was a good
Guy
owner.
stuff.
I don't even like the word owner because I feel like it has such a negative connotation.
There, so I know a lot about the Civil War, which is very cool. And what's wild, if you read some of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like slavery apologists during that time, like the antebellum South.
Yeah.
One of the arguments that the plantation owners would make was that it's good for the slaves and they like it.
Yeah.
Which is like wild on so many levels, of course, but you could cut that argument right off at the legs by being like, well, then why are they running away?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hot take. I think slavery is wrong.
But were they all running away? I think
That's that. I'm
that's
sure
like-
some of them were like, fuck it, man. What are you going to do?
yeah. They
Yeah.
probably slept well at night when you could. Like after a long day of like hard work, you're like you
Mhm.
probably sleep pretty well. And the next day, you're not like
Well, it's like when you get a good workout at the gym.
exactly.
hmm
You put in their time. It's like you don't. I'm not saying. Look, let me just be unequivocal. I'm anti-slavery.
No, this is an anti-slavery podcast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that the theme? I thought it was about. I thought it was about your morning routine. I didn't know it was anti-slavery event too.
Yeah, this podcast is for morning
Don't spring
people.
that on me now.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to talk about breakfast. I know. I think we were going to take political stances.
So
I don't want to alienate anyone by being pro or anti-slavery.
yeah, because we don't know if this is going. You know, obviously anyone in the world can listen to this podcast, and we don't know.
Slavery gets a bad rap, no doubt.
Ooh,
But
okay,
I'm open-minded,
okay.
and
I mean, if any of our Saudi listeners are
Yeah.
interested, if you have a slave, maybe
if you know Malala,
if you
yeah. put us
who
in
is
touch.
not Saudi,
We're big Malala stans, as the kids say. So Malala stan, I think, is a former country.
oh God, Malala stands is so funny. God damn it, the capital. What is the capital of Malala stand? Guys, if you happen to know what the capital of Malala
I like how you're
stand is.
outsourcing the comedy as well after the fact later on. Hey, we had a riff we did in the last episode. Here's some suggestions people came up with. It's like the opposite of improv. We give you the joke and you guys give us the prompt later. Reverse improv.
All right, I'm
We
gonna
act out a scene and you guys, now you guys tell us what you think we just did. Where's my character from? What's his motivation?
All right, can I get a noun emailed to the before hours podcast at gmail.com so I'll have some time to think about it?
Yeah. That's not it.
So an hour is too long to get ready.
No. If anything, it depends what you're doing in the hour.
Mhm.
I think it's probably not. If anything, I think if you can give yourself that time,
Mhm.
like I don't know if you meditate or something
Mhm.
like that, but like if you can give yourself that time and be peaceful, like it sucks to be early morning and rushing to do anything. Like that's brutal.
Mhm.
So like if you have the time, it's great. If you need the full hour, then I'm just wondering like what you're doing for the hour. But if you have time, just relax and chill.
I
I know you like to make a nice French press and sit out by the window, but not everyone has that luxury.
yeah, I definitely that is my morning routine. Yes, make a French press. The idea that I'm doing that in my Bushwick apartment that
Yeah.
I have with a roommate is very funny. Well, my roommate is a guy who and great roommate by the way, but I feel like he's always late. Like he wakes up and he's in a rush. And I almost feel like part of the reason I want to give myself time in the morning is if he needs to use the bathroom, he gets the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I like you said, I hate rushing.
Yeah.
I
That's why you never joined a frat.
That's why I never. That was very good, Ilya. Were you in a frat?
I was not.
That would have been
I'm
crazy.
aware of the terminology.
Yes.
Were you in a frat?
No.
No.
I feel like now I feel like maybe I give off that vibe in the Brooklyn comedy scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I go to the gym sometimes. They're like, this guy is a frat guy.
Frat guy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now all the frats are like LGBTQ like themed, like so.
So you're saying I could join one?
I'm just saying. I think what people think of as a frat, I think that stereotype's going to change probably in the next couple of decades.
Okay.
It's like, oh, you're a frat guy. It's like cool. Probably wouldn't say guy. They have some like new weird term that I won't understand.
I'm a frat. They them. That's so funny.
frat them.
Frat them. That could be it. So, and you know where I'm going with this, Ilya. How long do you need to take to get ready in the morning?
I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. Like I get out of bed, I shower. I like a long shower, just let the hot water pour over me and just really commiserate with myself. Did you just put the water back? That's really gonna put me off the rest of this goddamn podcast. Why couldn't you have swallowed the water? What was so difficult about that?
You made me.
I know, but like
I did a spit take. What can I say?
I know, but I don't even get the visual of the spit take because you did it back into the container.
Well, I don't think the podcast studio would appreciate me.
That would be funny. That would be
spraying.
Very
Although that's how you know you got a real spit take.
Yeah.
But I had a spit. But I anticipated the spit take coming as well.
Fair.
But the idea of you, quote, letting the hot water rush over you was so upsetting.
It's upsetting. I don't know. You don't like just sit under the stream of hot water and just think about all the poor choices you've made. And
yes.
how your life isn't what you thought.
Yeah.
It'd be?
Podcast guest or whatever.
Yeah. Sure. I'm sorry that on your second episode you couldn't get some of the top tier guests that you're really wanting.
I do not relate to any of because in the like tough guy podcasting world, right? It's like take a cold shower. You know, Joe Rogan does the cold plunge thing. I'm like, fuck that, dude.
I'll say when I go to the Russian sauna, I do the cold plunge, and it does like it feels. You do feel amazing afterwards.
Okay.
And so I do. It's one of those things I have a bit about, but like it's one of those things that, oh, it totally does work, but I just never gonna do it. Like I'm just much more like I just like hot showers too much. But I agree. I think the cold stuff, the cold plunge, cold showers, it will make you feel really good afterwards. But like you need like this discipline to like to get through it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guarantee if you tried, I guarantee you would get a kick out of it. Like, afterwards you would feel great.
And you go to these Russian saunas. Is that
Yes.
is that a regular occurrence?
Earlier in the year I was going with my buddy like pretty much every week.
Because you are Russian.
Yes.
Do you speak Russian?
No.
Okay.
Probably when I was very, very young when we first came here. I'm sure I did.
Because you moved as a little Vlad.
That's not what we call it, but sure. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. That's fine. That'd have been a great. Yeah. Do you want to put that tag in later and bring it back to 7 minutes? Like, and that's fine.
Oh,
that's a thing.
It happened 45 minutes ago, and I was like, "What is he talking?"
Something the way you opened up we opened up the podcast.
Ilya is Russian, guys, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I've never been to a spa, a sauna.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I want to go to a steam room. I have been to a steam room before for some reason.
For some reason?
So important.
You're
Why?
delivering a message for a mob boss? What do you mean for some reason? How do you not know why you were there? Big Tony says, stay off our turf. Pretty hot here.
I think I was a teenager, and I was because my parents' like idea of a vacation mostly was like going down to the shore. Like I'm from the Hudson Valley, so we didn't do like big vacations. It was basically like a week down. Like
you say like the Hudson Valley, like it's a poor place where people don't go on nice vacations.
It can be.
I'm sure there's parts of it, but when you say Hudson Valley, I think of like kind of upscale, just upstate.
Oh, like the Catskills?
No, not the cat. I think of like
Catskills is part of the Hudson Valley.
Yeah, okay, but that's how I think. When I think Catskills, I think like old Jewish 50s. Like I think like
who don't have
Dirty
any
Dancing.
money.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, when I think Hudson Valley, I think of like well-to-do Manhattanites who want to move upstate, but like still be like an hour from New York. Like that's what I think.
So the town that I grew up in was like 3,200 people. It's called Greenwood Lake. Our claim to fame is that Babe Ruth used to live there. And it's the income disparity is actually quite strange because on the lake
Yeah.
there are like $1 million houses,
Yeah.
but there's also like Section 80 houses like a few blocks away.
Nice.
I've heard people describe Baltimore that way. I mean, there's not a lake in Baltimore, but you know what I mean? Like the income disparity.
I love a good income disparity. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, my parents are like, we grew up comfortably middle class. We went to Spain when I was 10, but that was like the big trip. You know, other than that, we like went down to the shore for a week during the summer. That was our vacation.
Okay.
And that's where
you got.
That's where I went to the sauna.
Nice.
And it was fun.
It's a good. I mean, I didn't grow up doing it, but it's a big thing in Russia. So my dad grew up doing it, and then he introduced like me and my brother to do it. Like there's like the classic, like I mean, there's a couple in the New York area. There's the classic one in the East Village, like the Russian Turkish bath. But like it's a good time. I enjoy it. The hot sauna is really, really hot. Like if you've never been in it, like it's not like you have regular gym sauna. Like if you go to like a regular gym, it'll be like 170, 180 or something. Like that's like it's nothing. Like these, it's like over 200. Like these ones, and it's pretty great.
And yeah, I guess is the idea that it makes you sweat. Is it a weight loss thing?
No, it's not really done for that. Although I mean, you would lose a lot of water weight very quick. Like if you were like, you know, when I knew dudes who wrestled in high school and they had like cut weight or whatever, like, and they were just running around with like in garbage bags, that kind of thing. But like, it would do that. But I mean, it's more just, I think it's just a cultural thing because you see a lot of fat, schlubby Hasidic guys there, and then like the most fit gay dudes ever.
Oh yeah,
so like it's not like anyone's doing it for, but it just feels good. It's like relaxing and enjoyable. It's very much like a spa thing, but you get out of it sort of what you want. Like if you sweat like crazy, but you feel really good afterwards.
And how often do you do this?
I mean, I would probably normally go like once or twice a year, but early in the year I was going with my buddy, like, and he was going like every week. So there was a month or two stretch where we went like kind of every weekend. It's nice. I mean, it can be a little bit expensive, but it feels great.
Yeah, I feel like anything that feels great and is good for you is going to be wildly expensive.
It's not wildly. I mean, it depends how you want to do it. Like, I mean, they kind of increase the price by like $45, $50, like for the day. Okay. But then you're there for the whole day. You know? You can get food inside, and you know, it's a good time.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
Anyway, I do that every morning.
Every morning.
Every morning. I would, if I lived like next to a place like that and it was like convenient, I probably would go pretty often because it's pretty great. But like when my buddy and I go, we're there for like 10 hours or something, like just like make a whole day out of it. It's a good time.
So say you got somewhere to be in the morning, how like if say you got to like leave the house at 9, when do you set your alarm in the morning, assuming like everything else is going normally?
If I have to leave, it's weird to say I have to leave at 9 because I always think in terms of like where do I have to be at a certain time. It's hard to leave at not. I don't know what time I leave. Like, if you give me like a destination, like a place where I need to be.
Okay.
Be like,
so let's do this morning.
Because
you arrived in Bushwick.
I drove in
because
I'm in Jersey, so I drove in instead of taking a train. So normally depends like if it's the thing I'm going to take a train in for. But this can't be interesting conversation to anyone.
Folks, if you were enjoying the conversation,
the whole premise of your show, but this can't be how we end the podcast.
Guys, if you were enjoying the conversation, please know that you're wrong.
I mean, come on.
Ilya thinks you're a rube for taking any interest in his life.
I left at like around 10 o'clock. I live in Jersey, in Harrison, and drove to Bushwick, and it took like, surprisingly, it was like only, I don't know, 45 minutes or something.
So do you wake up, take a shower, eat breakfast, come here?
Don't really eat I don't really eat breakfast.
You're not a breakfast guy at all?
No, it's tough for me. Never really have an appetite that much. Not like never quite that early.
Dude, I'm jealous. I wake up like starving. Yeah. And I've experimented with different things. Like I've like guys or whatever.
It's like it's obvious it's there, but we should say I suck a dick. It doesn't fill me up the way I want, like an egg sandwich does.
Actually, if you use MyFitnessPal, which is like a calorie counting app, you can search how many calories in one like load of semen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it has like the carb, fat, protein breakdown.
Surely
too.
It's too negligible to matter. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
unless you're doing like unless you just want like a whole bucket of cum,
a whole bucket,
a whole big old bucket, which is a limited offering at KFC. It wasn't a popular seller, but they tried it. They tried it for Pride Month. It didn't work. But unless you're doing like the calories in a load are pretty negligible, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I don't know. Like I will eat something right before bed,
Yeah.
go to sleep for 7 hours,
Yeah.
wake up hungry. I don't know what it is. And I feel like I'm in the minority. I feel like most people are like you, where they're like, yeah, I fucking don't have to. When do you start getting hungry? Like around lunchtime?
No, I can get. I mean, it depends. Sometimes I'll get hungry. Like when I get in, early. I'll be like, oh, I'll get something. But just not like right away. Like at the home, I'm just like don't feel like
Hmm.
making anything or have anything really.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like go through their entire morning hungry though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And dehydrated. I feel like most people
People aren't drinking enough water. I drink a lot of water. I mean, I'm just gonna watch you because you didn't spit it back. We're just going to say something.
It's a very good bit, but only works if people are watching the video. If they're just listening to the audio, they just hear you have to drink water and
Yeah.
silence for Actually, they would probably pick up on. Guys, I'm sorry for doubting your intelligence. I think you would pick up on the visual.
I don't think you're sorry at all. I think you doubt their intelligence. I don't think you're proud of it.
Yeah.
I think you're happy to doubt your audience's intelligence.
Do you think?
I think so. I think you put on airs that you're like
Mhm.
nice and like your comedy, but I think deep down you're full of hate.
Full of hate.
I say that about a lot of. I say that about anyone who smiles a lot.
Okay. Well, I actually I do get annoyed by people a lot, and I actually feel like I have more of a strict idea of how people should behave than like is average.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But I was also raised to like smile at everybody.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a big disagreement with my friend about this because he was like wanting people to smile back at you and like say like a
Yeah.
customer service situation is like unreasonable. And I'm like, I don't think that it is. I think that's like part of the job.
No, I think that's
description.
part of. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's part of customer. I think customer service. If you
Mhm.
work in that, like, you should. It's like the ultimate. That's the total experience for the people.
Yes.
Like, people should feel welcome and like this idea. It's like, well, they're miserable at their job. It's like, yeah, everyone
Mhm.
hates their job.
Yeah.
But part of their job, like part of my job, is not to pretend that I'm good.
Mhm.
It's a different job, but part of their job is to pretend they're happy. So that's what the job is.
Mhm.
Like you have to pretend you enjoy it. That's what working is. Certain types of job. Don't have that job. Find
Mhm.
another job. Work
And-
in a factory if you don't want
Yeah.
to smile at strangers.
I feel like also not being friendly can't make you feel better too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you're like, this job sucks, and we've all worked jobs where we're like, I don't want to be here. I can't wait to move on from
Yeah.
this. But I can't imagine like being rude to people
unless
or
it's,
not pleasant.
unless it's someone you're upset with and then you're taking out on them, and then it probably feels good.
Mhm.
And if they feel that way about everyone, then it's like it feels pretty good. It's like, but then they would love their job and they should smile more.
Yeah.
Right? It's a real catch-22.
It's paradoxical. I could already anticipate the comments being like, "Oh, these guys are fucking Karens." You know what I mean?
Oh, because we want someone to the cashier to just be reasonably decent and polite.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
I feel the
That's
pimp-
like that's all that like the socialist movement. It's like everyone hates their job, so they should customer service people who work in customer service just stop bothering, stop being annoying. And it's
Mhm.
like, oh, if it's a busy bar, just get a beer and don't. It's like, no, I'm I'm paying for this thing. I'm still like
Yeah.
I'm like, why is there no
Mhm.
nothing on the other end of this? I'm expected to be completely subservient and still pay money and get nothing out of it
Yeah.
from you other than the bare. Like, I'm sorry, that's not the exchange.
Mhm.
Just get a different job.
Yeah, the idea that it's like, well, you wanted your coffee and here it is.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like-
it's like, well,
There's plenty of jobs where you don't have to interact with people. Get one of those.
podcasting, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
we
said yeah very enthusiastically, but yeah, sure. You don't have to interact with. I mean, you do have to, but like, I mean, depending on what kind of podcast you do. What if there was like the podcast equivalent where where the host is like one of those like a mean DMV lady,
Yeah.
and you had a podcast with her? Like, I don't know what the structure would be, but if that was a thing that happened, that'd be brutal. Have you guys listened to DMV cast? It's it's tense all the time.
We're not riffing now. We're
It's like-
riffing later.
Like, why am I here? Like, how long do I have to be here? It's like we do an hour. It's like, but are you gonna talk? What
Dude, the DMV is so stressful because it's like I only go to the DMV, I don't know,
Yeah.
once every few years. So of course I don't know how it works or where I'm supposed to stand. Why are you mad at me?
Oh, it's like it's always the TSA is always the worst because
Mhm.
it's so much more because it's different in every airport,
Yeah.
and they've all decided they're going to change the rules,
Yeah.
and it's like, and also they get mad. It's like when people this happens at immigration court a lot. There's security lines that go to immigration court,
Mhm.
and a lot, and sometimes the security people get frustrated. It's like, take off your belt, take off your shoes, and then repeat. And then people don't listen. It's like, take off your belt, take off your shoes. It's like, it's an immigration court. These people might not speak English.
Yeah.
You're aware that that's a possibility. It happens. And since you do this every single day and it happens every time, maybe you should just get used to it.
Mhm.
But instead, they're like, why don't you understand me? It's because they don't speak English.
Yeah.
That's what this place is.
Yeah.
They don't know the rules and they don't know what you're saying.
Mhm. And an airport is like, well, that could be anybody.
They could be from anywhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
This man is wearing a full gown and his wife is standing 10 feet behind him. I don't think they're familiar with our customs of TSA here.
The idea of like they're not getting a tip either is very funny to me. Imagine if like the TSA workers,
they would behave exactly the same way.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's like the problem is like our culture is like the tip is the salary.
Mhm.
So now it's been integrated into what they do. So now it's like, hopefully generally speaking, you get pretty decent service, I would guess, in most places.
Mhm.
But if they don't, it's like, well, I'm still expecting a tip. It's like, I don't know why you're expecting that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's? It's like, you should do better at a certain point. Like, we all have to draw a line a little
Mhm.
bit. I'll still tip, but like,
Mhm.
it's not gonna be like a great tip if like you're really bad. Like my wife and I yesterday went to a place and like we sat forever, and then the server came up to us and it was like, I'll be honest with you, I don't normally cover this table, so I just forgot. And it's like, I get that you're trying to be honest, but like that's not the kind of honesty. It's like, I'm gonna be upfront with you, and I hope that makes me endearing. Because then he was also a bad server.
Yeah.
But just like, okay, now you just know why you're a bad server, but you didn't change anything about our situation.
Mhm.
You're just like, I'll be honest, I'm bad at this job,
Mhm.
and that was it. And you left it there. And it's like, well, you got to give me more to work with. It's like I'm not just getting like, oh well, I really appreciate your honesty, sir.
Yeah.
And I hope you learn a lesson.
And
from this.
how much did you tip?
Probably like 10%.
Yeah. 10
What-
is like
10, which is like almost nothing. It's still
Mhm.
something. I wasn't gonna like do nothing, but I was like, it was really bad service, and it's
Mhm.
like, well, this is ridiculous. And it wasn't like so busy. They weren't swamped. It wasn't like a thing like that. Like there was no reason. It was just the bad service. So I was like, well, I'll give you 10%, but like, and which I don't know if it's enough to teach him a lesson. Not that it's my job to teach. I don't want to be arrogant, like I don't tip well, but like
Mhm.
in that situation, it was one of those times like, I'm not going to give you like 25% on this, but I'm not going to leave you with nothing.
Now, Ilya, as a podcast guest, if people do want to tip you, where's the best place for them to find you?
Oh, Seamless. No, not on the app. Seamless. I'm on. No, just my name on all social media.
Okay.
On Venmo too, if you want to give me. It's like I like.
So
like
Ilya Laksin on Twitter,
Twitter,
Instagram, and Venmo, Cash App.
I do not have Cash App.
I knew that.
What am I, a poor? I don't. Is Cash App? I don't know what Cash App's there. But yeah, ILYALAKSIN. Look me up. I'm very, very funny.
Hell yeah. You are very funny. You're one of my favorite people, Ilya.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you did this podcast with me. And folks, remember, early to bed, early to rise makes a man wealthy, healthy, and wise. I cannot not laugh when
How
you're
did
next to me.
you didn't warn me that that's a thing that you do to end the show. I didn't know that was coming. I might have said yes to this if I know that's how you clap off each episode.
Oh man, I'm just playing Night Owls. You know I love you.
Oh god.
Thank you